against Duke. Few teams do. Sherrod Ford sits down and Akinbala comes back in for him.
Well, we see at the free throw line with Shavlik Randolph, the last play, he tried to bang inside, and I don't know if that's his game right now, even though he's put on weight. The second time he received the ball, he stepped off the lane, faced up, and put it on the ground. I think that's where he's going to be most effective.
Remember, Shavlik gained that weight and got stronger after having had hip surgery. Bone spurs were in his hip, and he used that time to strengthen his upper body. Shea Christie now is in the game with Robinson, Babalola, Akinbala, and Hobbs. Christie, not a wise move that time.
Now got away with an offensive foul on that play, ducked his shoulder. They threw it out of bounds, and that's the last thing you do. You have to either leave the floor as a scorer, or you're going to be in trouble, because there was nobody ready to take the pass.
And the last thing you want to do is dribble into traffic against a Duke defensive team.
No, it's not like Shea Christie is going to overpower anybody physically.
Good defensive pressure by Babalola.
That's a big man guarding a guard 30 feet from the basket. He can like Deng, he can guard at 4 positions.
Clemson's defense is much more aggressive tonight than in the first meeting that we had back in late December when these two met in Clemson.
There's a look. That's pretty good recovery by Randolph, getting into the play and forcing the pass. And then Christie loves to get into the middle of the floor, but it really didn't help him out on that play.
Are you as impressed as I am with Clemson defensively in this game, though?
Absolutely. They've been very active, and you know, Oliver Purnell knows this is a work in progress, and but they've had a week to prepare for this game, Tim, which really doesn't happen all that often in the league. So you should feel like they should be pretty locked in.
There's the quick trap. Robinson should be able to get rid of it. Couldn't. Duhan. It's stolen away by Hamilton and then picked by Thackeray. So the Tigers recover and will get it back with 8:35 remaining in the opening half.
And that's the first turnover that Duke has gotten off the trap, and they are going to jump all ball screens. But you talked about the football player Hamilton getting back like that. Nice little cornerback play.
You could say that he's really the only true point guard, but again, he's trying to learn on the fly. And Sherrod Robinson is out there helping him now. Akinbala rejected by Williams, but he gets it back.
Pretty good stick-to-itiveness by Akinbala, and a lot of players get down, they get their shot blocked, but he was the first one off the floor to get the rebound and go back down.
Rice is coming into the game. This is a very physical Clemson team, but you begin to wonder, as many times as they're going to attack that Duke front line of Randolph and Williams, will attrition become a problem? Foul difficulty. That front court is not particularly deep late in the game. Williams, and again locked up with Akinbala, and this one will go against Sheldon Williams. He's the one constant, isn't he? You and I were debating this, that Deng can play 4 positions, but it's Sheldon Williams that cleans up whatever deficiency Duke may have on a given night.
Well, I think he gives them their physical presence. You know, there's a big difference when he's out of the game, Tim, and you know, with all the blocks, and he doesn't make just regular blocks. They're signature blocks that just send a message to the other team to not come in the lane. But struggling here offensively, has not scored in this game, and a little bit of a frustration foul that last play down the floor.
Clemson still not able to get on track from downtown, but they've been very effective in driving, just like that. And Sherrod Robinson is fouled.
And Oliver Purnell has said that Sherrod Robinson has really taken to his starting role, and I should say so. He's averaged 20 points over the last 3, including a career-high 24 against North Carolina. He really, you are right, he's not a true point guard. He's got a scorer's mentality from local kid from Raleigh, North Carolina. But he has really flourished in this starting role.
Son of a coach, his dad just became an assistant at Appalachian State up in Boone, North Carolina,
where he played for. He played there actually for Bobby Cremins. despite that coaching, was a pretty good player in his own right.
There are only a few guys who can get away with saying that about. Coach Clemens is one of them, by the way. He's a fine god, that kid right there. 19-18 Duke.
So, you want to open a checking account?
Yes, but I don't want to pay for it.
Right. And you want online banking?
Right, if it's free.
And unlimited online bill paying?
I don't want to have to pay for that either.
No. So you want total security protection on your check card, free?
Look, I just don't think I should have to pay for any of it.
Neither do we.
Free checking plus with direct deposit from Bank of America. Higher standards.
When the stakes are high, the great ones answer the call. Like a November wind, you cut through the unforgiving wasteland of company data and emerged with numbers that were once untouchable. You have the new Microsoft Office system. It's showtime.
Here in our tour of Jack and Daxter's world, we have the Baron to help demonstrate a battle scene. All right, let's pretend you're Jack.
All right.
Now summon your Dark Jack powers.
My what?
Okay, you need to be a bit quicker with your Dark Jack powers.
This world is better left to Jack. Rated T for teen.
Ah, eat this.
Sundays, experience Be the Creature. Get inside the minds of animals with Chris and Martin Craig. Join their pack, eat their food, live their lives. Be the Creature, Sundays on the National Geographic Channel. Check your local listings.
Pac-10 basketball presented by Kyocera returns. The Bruins look to upset 12th-ranked Arizona in a showdown between bitter conference rivals. Some of you also might see second-ranked Stanford take on crosstown rival Cal. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific.
Second chance points have played a role in this game. Akin Akabala making the finish on that play. Sherrod Ford getting in and muscling for a rebound. Clemson number 2 in the ACC, averaging just under 15.5 offensive rebounds per game. And if they're going to stay in this, Tim, that's a big part of it. Another thing they've done, it's a low-scoring game so far, which really is going to help the Clemson Tigers. There you see Duke, the number 1 defensive rebounding team. Clemson, the number 1 offensive rebounding team.
And I asked Oliver Purnell today, I said, you know, so many teams in this conference have an MO. You know, Wake Forest, they press, they get up and down. North Carolina, transition basketball. Maryland, they gut it out. Gary Williams' toughness. What would, if you were to sum up in a sentence, what would you want your team's MO to be? Doc Ruse shouting out there. He said, rebounding and defense. That's what I want. We're going to out-rebound most teams we play if we're going to be a consistent winner.
Well, he also said a third, which was to not shoot ourselves in the foot, which they haven't been able to avoid this year. But for those two, they're right on target.
Easy for those errant shots to go against you when you're in your first year in the Atlantic Coast Conference as a head coach. He's hoping those shots are with blanks tonight. His team very much in this game in a defensive struggle, 19-18. Hamilton off the back iron. Another offensive rebound. Rice. And Sherrod Ford was held by Dockery and got away with it. Pretty subtle move on the part of the guard. Had his man hooked.
The referee really wasn't in a position to see it, so he was able to get away with one on the play.
Reddick. There's the dump down to Ewing. You have to respect JJ's outside shot. He threaded the needle nicely that time to Ewing. And you can see there, Daniel Ewing does not appear to be feeling well tonight. Just not 100%.
Well, if he played through a stress fracture in his foot. I think he's going to be able to fight through whatever he has. But it's a nice finish inside. And Ewing and Reddick, while the shot hasn't been there, has been a good distributor tonight.
Talk about the Atlantic Coast Conference and the distance that Duke was able to build for themselves with that win Thursday night against North Carolina. North Carolina State's a standalone, unranked until tomorrow, I believe, second-place team in the ACC. Look at that group, bunched at 4-4 and 4-5, and that brings up the question, who's in, who's out? Begin checking RPIs, my friend.
Yeah, we'll get into that later on as this game goes along, but you can see how the league is really feeding on itself in 3 through 7. But clearly, I mean, NC State it makes their record even look more impressive. This is the thing that teams, I think, are starting to do, Tim. They're trying to take the three-point shot away from Reddick. They're running at him. They'd rather see him drive to the basket or take long twos.
Robinson just got it to Akinbala, and Ford is hammered by Dang. There's just more crispness in the steps of the Clemson players. Duke is fighting through some fatigue tonight. I believe it's obvious.
Well, and think about it. I mentioned the week off for Clemson. You know, they've had a whole week to prep. It's like playing a football game almost.
That's right.
Get a little rest, work on their own game, prepare for Duke, and then come in here refreshed. And Duke is coming out of a war just 72 hours ago.
That was one of those games that drains you as much mentally as it does physically. The win over North Carolina. Give credit to the Tar Heels the way they bounced back to beat Wake Forest yesterday. Very big win for them. And Shawan Robinson finally nails a tray, and it's a 21-21 tie.
Well, there's two sets of that equation. One, you have Duke has got a hangover, but Clemson is stepping up in this game and taking advantage of it. They're making shots, shooting almost 50%, which is tough to do in this building.
Dang triple teamed and finally hacked. It appeared to be inside against Akinbala.
Well, Tim, you know, I played and you look inside, and Reddick again with the terrific find, and Deng has done a marvelous job of making himself a target in there, coming from behind the defense and getting good position. Foul there, but I was going to say I've played in a number of those Duke North Carolina games, and they're like playing a game and a half, almost two if you go into overtime, which I think makes their win at Wake Forest even more remarkable.
Look at those numbers on Dang, and as a freshman to be leading in the conference in those areas, and second only because Sheldon Williams happens to play for the same team. Shavlik Randolph checks in for Luol. Robinson has Hobbs, Rice, Ford, and Christie. Akinbala forced to leave the game because of a third foul. And it's going to be an over and back. Over and back. An unforced error that time. Ford just got caught looking the other way.
I think Oliver Purnell is going to be very attentive to this game in the last 5 minutes. His team is right there right now. He doesn't want to squander this with a big run by Duke going into the half.
Yeah, and normally, particularly here at Cameron, you're going to get one of those. A run of, say, 10 unanswered. How you recover from that is the difference in whether you can hang in the game or no. They could draw on some confidence in that Florida State came in here last week and held Duke into the 50s defensively. By the way, Florida State, how tough is it to play on the road in the Atlantic Coast Conference? As good as that team is, and they played a very strong game earlier today against Maryland, Florida State has lost 20 in a row on the road in the ACC.
Well, Leonard Hamilton has done a great job. Tallahassee's been a tough place to play, but the last part of that a team learns is how to be a good road team, and then obviously that's still out there for Florida State.
They're getting closer, there's no question. Hobbs, that's an offensive foul. Akinbala with 3, and that's 3 on Hobbs, and it could be tough in the second half defending the low post with Hobbs and Akinbala each saddled with foul trouble.
Well, now you see the versatility of Babalola, who will come in as a frontline defender, but 2 of those 3 fouls for Hobbs are on the offensive end, probably fouls that he didn't need to get. He's just, he's talking Dwayne Bowden about being excited coming into this game and maybe overly so and overly aggressive in that situation.
Ewing on the wing. Out of bounds, last touch by Sheldon Williams. You mentioned Hobbs, his dad, Greg, who works here at Duke, as Dwayne mentioned. Also, his mom, Mary, sitting right behind the Clemson bench. There they are. Clemson will have to go small in the remaining 4+ minutes. And a foul spotted against Daniel Ewing. And let's go back to Dwayne Ballard.
Tim, Mike, we were discussing Chris Hobbs. We said he grew up in Chapel Hill. He had 5 relatives that attended UNC, including his mom and his dad. And, of course, we mentioned his dad works at Duke. He was recruited by many of the schools until he injured himself prior to his senior season in high school. Everyone backed off except for Duke and Clemson. Duke wanted him to commit later. Clemson gave him the commitment early. He took the bird in the hand, and he's very happy he went to Clemson. But he admitted to me earlier today that he has a bit of wistfulness sometimes when he's in here thinking maybe he could have senior night in Duke blue as opposed to Clemson orange.
Yeah.
And Dwayne, he had that knee surgery in his senior year at Duke Hospital. So there are a lot of ties to Duke and Durham for the Hobbs family.
That's a difficult rehab when you think about it, isn't it? Where did you rehab at Duke? How many times did you play at Duke? Well, too many to remember. Loose ball. Nice work there by Akinbala, who's forced to play with 3 fouls and another foul against the Devils.
Really, you look at it offensively, Duke has been a little casual with the basketball in this game, and Luol Deng has been their only consistent offensive player. He's got 11 of their 23 points. Meanwhile, Shawan Robinson has matched him as a double-figure scorer in this game.
You can really sense that Mike Krzyzewski knows his team is really struggling right now. It's just a question of what do they have left to give.
Akinbala came out of his shoe on that play.
Dang. Williams the follow.
Still shoeless. One of the Duke managers actually ran out and got the shoe. Think he'll give it back?
There's no sympathy here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. My guess is he'll have to play off the ball.
If I'm guarding him, I'm going to be able to wander off and help out a little bit.
Babalola unable to do it. Unable to get it down, and you can see Akinbala just slowly trying to get down there, running on his heels. Finally, at long last, a dead ball after the player control foul against the Blue Devils. And it couldn't have come too soon for Akinbala. Oliver Purnell knew this was going to be a tough place to play. When we come back, you'll be hearing from Mike Goldberg and Larry Conley in our Atlanta studios. Stay right where you are.
Thanks for the tickets, Dad.
Hey, how about a ride in our new PT Turbo?
Wow. So we were in the market for a smaller car, but then we found this. I've got tons more room, so much more power.
Check this out.
So where you guys parking? Drop you off.
We're right over there.
Yeah. You got one.
Now everyone can get into a Chrysler PT Cruiser with this groundbreaking offer. Announcing Zero Plus. Get 0% financing plus a $2,000 cash allowance plus our 770 powertrain limited warranty. The best values in America just got better. See your dealer today.
Sometimes being out in your own backyard helps you see things clearly. And you look across the country. First you see energy shortages, then everything else that's going on there. And then you look right here at our local electric co-op. We know the people at our co-op. We know how they do business. We know the owners because, well, we're the owners. I guess the difference comes down to one thing. The people have the power.
When we shine as one.
It's the President's Celebration event at your Jeep dealer, where for a very limited time, we're offering great deals on our greatest leaders. Now, get 0% financing plus a $2,500 total factory cash allowance, which includes an extra $500 presidential bonus. Or, for just $269 a month, well-qualified buyers can buy a versatile Jeep Liberty Sport. But this President's Celebration event ends March 1st, so hurry to your Jeep dealer today.
LeBron James leads the Flying Cavaliers.
Jason Kidd delivers heat for the Nets. Cavaliers, Nets, Wednesday at 7 on Fox Sports Net.
Welcome to our studios in Atlanta. One other game in the ACC today. Florida State at Maryland. Second half, Terrapins by 7. Some days are just your day. Chris McCray, the backboard, the hoop, and the foul. Maryland led by Jamar Smith's double-double, 16 points, 14 rebounds, wins 73-62. Coming up on the Kyocera halftime show, I'll be joined by Larry Conley. Big win for Maryland. So how many teams might we see in the big dance in the ACC?
I will tell you, I will tell everybody at home. 7, 6, but we're going to tell you if you'll stay with us.
Could it be a record-setting year? That and more on the Kyocera halftime show. Back to Durham, Tim Brando, Mike Jaminski.
Tim Brando and Mike Jaminski here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. And Maryland did something in that game, fellas, that they don't do that often. They hit a lot of free throws.
Down the stretch.
Hit them in succession. And I agree. I concur. You look at the foul difficulty. Hobbs has 3, as does Duhan for Duke. But I would concur with Larry. I think 6 teams are going to get in. You believe only 5 are locked.
Well, right now, 5 are a lock. I think Wake Forest a little wobbly. They're concerning me. They've lost 6 of their last 8. So if they, and all of it's going to be how these teams finish. I think there are 7 right now to go to the tournament, but a lot is going to be determined over the last 10 games.
Absolutely. By the way, in case you're wondering, the last 6 and 10 team to get into the NCAA tournament from the Atlantic Coast Conference.
I got you. Yeah.
1998 edition of the Florida State Seminoles.
That's right. I don't think 6 and 10 is going to get it done. I think 7 and 9 is the cutoff point. That's my opinion.
I think it depends on the 6 and 10 team. What they've done non-conference against some high-caliber opponents. Williams, too strong. There to mop it up. 27-24. You got to remember, Maryland beat Florida at their place. Some impressive non-conference wins for this league as well. North Carolina beating Connecticut when they were number 1. Akinbala in the game, setting the pick. Dang disrupts it. Babalola recovers.
Well, your call on Luol Deng looks pretty good in this first half. He has really done everything for Duke. Scoring, offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding.
Robinson a 3. We're tied at 27. I tell you, Oliver Purnell, the stars and the moon could be aligned in the right direction. This is exactly what he wanted.
And Reddick looked at Robinson, only I shoot in this building from that far out. That was some serious range.
Shawan has the last 10 Clemson points. And again, not protecting the basketball as well as the norm. There's Dang again. He's been a one-man wrecking crew for the Blue Devils.
What an outstanding defensive play by Luol Deng. The long arms getting back, not only deflecting it, but chasing it down before it went out of bounds.
This is my point on Luol Deng. If I were starting a team anywhere, playing a pickup game someplace in college basketball, the only guy I would pick over Luol Deng would be Jameer Nelson of St. Joseph's.
Well, look at that right there. The other starters really struggling. Only 11 points and the only double-figure scorer for Duke.
Well, we talked to Oliver Purnell about what it would take for his team to pull off the unthinkable here at Cameron Indoor.
Well, I think you've got to attack but be smart. I think you've got to play extremely hard. You got no shot playing against Duke unless you play extremely hard, because they do. You've got to find a way to master energy, but you've got to be smarter than we played at home. We've got to take care of the basketball, and then you've got to really hang together as a team, because obviously the Cameron crazies, this atmosphere, all of that stuff works and conspires against you. So you really got to draw your strength from within, from your team.
I don't believe there's any doubt he's matched the energy so far in this game. Randolph leaves it for J.J. Redick.
He told us last year when Dayton came in here, they were a little overwhelmed in the first half, but settled down in the second half. I think Clemson is totally acclimated to Cameron Indoor Stadium right now. They've taken that out of the equation.
Their only problem is, other than Robinson, no one's been able to hit a 3. Shea Christie is a streaky shooter, and you see they run 2 defensively at him whenever he gets a touch. Babalola again in traffic. Has to do it himself. That's going to be a 3-second violation against Olu Babalola. And this is an important stretch here. In the last seconds of a half because Duke can come at you in waves. After being tied at 27, you can find yourself down by 6 or 7 very quickly. Tigers have turned it over 13 times and have still managed to hang to within 3 of the Blue Devils with 37 seconds left. Coming up at halftime, Mike Goldberg and Larry Conley back in our Atlanta studio. It's been a very active Sunday in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and what a tremendous week in college basketball in general. Shot clock virtually the same, only a 1.2 seconds differential, and the foul spotted. Go against Ford.
Yeah, kind of a silly foul that time that they really had Ewing hung up 45 feet from the basket, and just Clemson a little over-aggressive on that play. You don't want to give up some free throws in that situation. Well, that graphic's going to be a heck of a game next week.
Oh, yes, it will.
We're not going to look forward. Plenty of action to deal with between now and then, but Duke on the road at North Carolina State, numbers 1 and 2 in the conference.
Shawan Robinson actually picked up that foul, not Ford. You see Rice sitting down, and Ford has just re-entered an offensive for defensive substitution. And Ewing at the line. Look at Williams' patience on the offensive glass. Count it, and the foul. And this is exactly what we were talking about. Always dangerous. They're going to play to the millisecond of every half. And Clemson could find themselves down 6 or 8 points here.
Well, and what happens here, this is where Hobbs being out of the game hurts them. Akinbala a little overmatched physically by Sheldon Williams. The last thing you want to do is give up an offensive rebound on a missed free throw for a 3-point play.
Oh.
Williams at the line, shooting 1.
Devils on a 10-3 run to close out the half, lead by 6. And they've been really outplayed by Clemson. Other than the turnovers that the Tigers have had, they've really stayed with Duke, particularly on the defensive end. Foul against the Devils. We'll go against Daniel Ewing, his second. Our Kyocera halftime report, as we mentioned, coming up. Talk a little bit about the bubblicious month of February for the ACC. Take a look at the Oklahoma-Texas highlights. The Red River rivalry renewed. All of that at halftime.
And we talked about Vernon Hamilton, and the guy's a very capable player, Tim. He almost had a triple-double against Boston College earlier this year. 13 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. But then he had a homecoming game up in Virginia where he had 10 turnovers. And I really think you look at the ACC, the deepest position in the league is that point guard. Yeah. I mean, you make all ACC at the point guard position this year. You're doing some work. And it just became that he was overmatched a little bit. So I think the move to the bench has been a positive one for him.
He misses at the free throw line late, though. You got to make the free ones when you're playing at Cameron Indoor Stadium. It was 27-all, remember. Melchioti. Just like that. That's why they're number 1. Not at your best. Perhaps giving up a bit more than you'd like on the defensive end. And here's Dwayne Ballin.
I'm with assistant coach Chris Collins. Chris, I know it's fatigue from the Carolina game. Clemson playing well. You're in on a high note. Tough first half.
Yeah, give Clemson credit. They came out, played hard, really attacked us early. Hopefully our end of half game situation, a couple big shots can send us into the second half on a positive note.
One guy that was on in the first half, Luol Deng. What a 20 minutes for him.
Yeah, he's just got to keep attacking. He's real versatile. He's a matchup problem for almost anyone who plays him, so hopefully he can continue in the second half.
Thank you, Coach. Tim, we've got a good one here at Cameron.
All right, Dwayne, just when you think the Blue Devils are a bit vulnerable at a given moment, they remind you that Duke is Duke. Back to Mike Goldberg and Larry Conley.
Thank you, guys. Entertaining, to say the least. Welcome inside our studios in Atlanta. This is the Kyocera halftime show. That's the veteran Larry Conley. I'm Mike Goldberg. Clemson and number 1 Duke, a 9-point game. Up next, We go on the break. In a 9-team league, 4 times they have sent 6. Is this year the ACC sends 7? We discuss when the Kyocera halftime show rolls.
One company brings new value to the way we communicate. With smartphone technology that adds color to the wireless world. Fiber optic components that drive broadband internet service. And copiers that scan direct to email for instant communication around the globe. One company does all these things and more to bring new value to our world. Kyocera.
Hey, Randy, I need an ink cartridge.
We all have needs, Julie.
It's got sprinkles. Thanks.
Legal pads.
Banana nut.
I've got those muffins I owe you.
Have a paperclip.
Randy, can I have some file folders?
Half a Danish, half a folder.
Say, Randy, I went to Staples.
Staples, Randy.
It was easy, Randy.
Very easy.
People might like to know that.
What do you want from me?
Cream puff.
You monster.
Store, catalog, online, Staples. That was easy.
Word has it someone here's trying to make a collect call. Just dial in the center with 1-800-CALLATT. It's free for you and cheap for them. What do you say you and I giddy up out of here and go hit a disco? Or not.
Save on every call. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
Like most families, we wanted an SUV, but ours had to be especially rugged because my husband was brought up by wolves. But he's really not that different than any other guy. You know, he loves to be outdoors, so we bought a Honda Pilot.
Hey, Dad.
And that's been a lifesaver, really.
The Pilot. Built by Honda.
Just relax. Try to think of something simple like making a collect call by dialing down the center with 1-800-CALLATT. It's free for you and cheap for them. Okay, my turn.
Save on every call. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
It's a who's who on the best damn sports show, period. It's the clubhouse for Hollywood and Hall of Famers. Weeknights and late night on Fox Sports Net.
ACC Sunday Night Hoops is brought to you by Kyocera, the new value frontier, by NikeBasketball.com, and by Staples. That was easy.
Larry, Florida State, losers of 19 straight ACC road games. They were in College Park. Tim Pickett thought today was the day the streak would end. But then Nick Kaner-Medley had other ideas.
Watch Kaner-Medley right here with a good defensive play, slapping the ball away from Tim Pickett. That was part of the defensive highlights, but offensively, he was strong today, too.
He was in the second half for Maryland what Pickett was in the first for Florida State, finishing with 14 points, 3 3-pointers. Jamar Smith with the double-double. Top 7 in the ACC, all planning on going to the big dance. Who may not actually make it there, though?
I think Duke, North Carolina State, and Georgia Tech all make it. Who's not going to make it? Well, you can take one of those final 4 because I only think 6 comes out of the ACC. Florida State, North Carolina, Wake Forest, and Maryland have got to make that decision.
If it were to be 7, Larry, it would be the first time in ACC history. Now, how about Wake Forest? They had ascended as high as number 3. They've lost 6 of their last 8. Could they really miss the NCAA tournament?
I think it's very possible, but this is a basketball team. While they have lost 6 of their last 8, they've got 4 home games and 4 road games, and they've got North Carolina State and Duke coming to their place. And they've also got a very tough Cincinnati team coming to their place. They need to win all their home games.
Yes, they definitely do. We will see if they will. So far at home, number 1 Duke. They go on a 9-0 run to end the first half, led by the fabulous freshman Luol Deng. Clemson trails number 1 Duke by 9. We're back in a moment with more of the Kyocera halftime show.
Advance Auto Parts. No matter when or where. Advance Auto Parts. Whatever's waiting there around these parts. Trouble doesn't stand a chance. For the best parts, people like price. We're ready in advance. Yeah, bring it on.
For 27 straight years, the Ford F-Series has been the best-selling truck on the planet. Now, the next F-150 has earned the 2004 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, leaving its competition in the dust. With best-in-class towing and low-end torque, a stronger frame, and greater standard power and payload than ever before. And now $1,000 cashback or 0% financing gives you a simply greater value. See the next F-150 at your Greater Cincinnati Ford dealers. Simply greater.
Cleveland's all-black Company H of Ohio 372nd Regiment was scheduled for duty to fight in World War I in 1918. Days before its departure, a number of its ranking officers were relieved of duty. Despite the blatant move to eliminate high-ranking blacks, the black troops performed exceptionally well in Europe. I am Alan Krulak.
This Cleveland Black History Moment has been brought to you by Adelphia and City News.
Grab life by the horns at Spencer Dodge in Mayfield Heights and drive home a new 2004 Dakota 4x4 for only $244 a month with 0 down.
Don't you dare buy a Dodge anywhere else.
Not when you can get a new 04 Ram 1500 4x4 for only $289 a month with 0 down, or a brand new 2004 Caravan for only $14,990.
Don't you dare buy a Dodge anywhere else.
Only at Spencer Dodge, 6060 Mayfield Road, Mayfield Heights.
Don't you dare buy a Dodge anywhere else.
The best damn sports show, period. Weeknights on Fox Sports Net.
Back to the Kyocera halftime show. Number 1 Duke leads 36-27 by 9 at the break. Clemson trying to snap a 16-game losing streak to the Dukies, longest presently in the ACC. Next week on ACC Sunday Night Hoops, unbeaten at home, Julius Hodge and NC State in a Tobacco Road tussle, hosting number 1 Duke. Our coverage begins with the Kyocera College basketball tip-off show, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific.
See, aren't you glad I drove my new Pacifica? It can fit 6, you know? The all-wheel drive's awesome in the snow, and it's got a 5-star crash test rating.
Unlike some people we know.
Very funny.
Yeah, too bad he doesn't have the capability of the Pacifica.
Go well beyond the SUV with the Chrysler Pacifica. Plus, get this groundbreaking offer. Announcing Zero Plus. Right now, get 0% financing plus a $2,000 cash allowance plus our 770 powertrain limited warranty. For the best values in America, see your Chrysler dealer today.
You know, Bugsy, in our line of work, I'm glad we have that insurance. What insurance, Doc? Nope, that's not it. The one that pays you cash if you get hurt and can't work. And Dad's, it's right on the tip of my bill. Flapjack?
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Tink, I knew the name all along.
It's the President's Celebration event at your Jeep dealer, where for a very limited time, we're offering great deals on our greatest leaders. Now, get 0% financing plus a $2,500 total factory cash allowance, which includes an extra $500 presidential bonus. Or, for just $269 a month, well-qualified buyers can buy a versatile Jeep Liberty Sport. But this President's Celebration event ends March 1st, so hurry to your Jeep dealer today.
On Sunday, February 15th, the NBA's brightest stars on LA's biggest stage.
Truth about Kevin Garnett, the best all-around player in the game.
Truth about Vince Carter is...
Did you see that? Truth about Iverson is... Now you see him. Oh, watch out. Now you don't.
The truth about Shaq Diesel, only the most dominant player on planet Earth.
Let the truth be told.
The 2004 NBA All-Star Game.
Live from Los Angeles.
Exclusively on TNT. Welcome to my house.
Steak, chicken, or shrimp?
What do you want to eat?
Show number 22 Oklahoma at number 11 Texas. All Longhorns today. PJ Tucker will set up Brandon Mouton.
And again, Texas really quick today. Oklahoma had no offense whatsoever.
Oklahoma shoots 26%, 1 of 21 from three-point land. They score only 37 points. Texas Longhorns roll in a big-time fashion. Back to our game. Clemson at number 1, Duke. Clemson staying close, but they gave away some points at the end of the half.
Mike, they were outscored 9-0 in the last few seconds of that game, and it really was a big problem for them because they needed to stay close. If they can keep the game in the 50s or 60s, they've got a chance.
Let's see if they can do it. It would be the upset of the year if it were to happen in Durham. We'll get back out to Tim Brando, Mike Jaminski in a moment. How about Shawan Robinson? 14 points to lead the way thus far for Clemson. This has been the Kyocera Halftime Show. Enjoy the second half, everybody.
See, now aren't you glad that I wanted the heated seats in all this room?
Liz, right now it's not about that or the DVD. It's about the Hemi. Power, capability, big-time towing, end of story.
Dodge Durango, the ultimate authority in winter driving.
You can handle it from here?
Thanks for the talk.
The all-new Dodge Durango. Big size, smooth ride, Hemi power. Starting under $26,600.
I want the best home loan for me.
I just want the whole process to be easy.
I want my loan to close fast.
If you're planning to purchase a home, your local home loan experts at Countrywide can help you get approved quickly and easily for whatever your home loan needs may be. Call us at 800-485-1786 or visit your local Countrywide branch.
What's that?
The wireless bill.
Frustrated with your high wireless bill? Take your number to a better place. Call 1-800-T-Mobile and get the best value in wireless. And now get T-Mobile 3-day weekends with unlimited calling.
T-Mobile, get more.
Danielle, can you find another place for your backpack?
Unlimited online bill paying. Free from Bank of America.
Right there.
Higher standards.
Introducing Late Night Poker, the series that all of Europe is talking about. Only on Fox Sports Net.
ACC Sunday Night Hoops is presented by Staples. That was easy. And brought to you in part by T-Mobile. Get more minutes, more features, more service. And by Bank of America, setting higher standards.
Vernon Hamilton was really struggling. Shawan was playing a lot for us at both positions. We felt like he needed to make some shots for us in order for us to have a chance to win. We made the change to allow Vernon to kind of look at the court a little bit and relax. He did. He was got back to being aggressive and that kind of thing. And Shawan Robinson took to it like water. He's given us really the same kinds of things. He's just simply doing it better now that he's been starting.
That lineup change made a difference in, let's say 19 of the 20 minutes played, but that last minute was tough. Mike Jaminski alongside yours truly, Tim Brando. And when you come to Cameron Indoor Stadium, even guys like me have to struggle for airtime.
Yeah, no, I'm not standing up. I've got a little vertigo up here.
Yeah, you do. And you would. Our Kyocera halftime stats will indicate to you that the numbers were very strong from an offensive standpoint for Clemson early, but just too many turnovers, Mike, and then the same problem they've had all along, and some of them were really unforced errors.
No, and they shot the ball very well to come in here, shoot 46%, but 13 turnovers for Clemson, especially a lot at the end, resulting in 14 points. Duke able to end on a 9-0 run, which is the difference in the ball game right now. And you touched on it. If you lose concentration for a second, Duke is right there.
Let's go down to Dwayne Ballard. Maryland.
Tim, I just spoke with Oliver Purnell, and he told me that he was very happy with the way that his point guard, Shawn Robinson, he just referred to, played. But what he's concerned about are the inside points that Duke got. And that's last minute, guys. He said he wished that had never happened.
No, that was really a self-inflicted wound, too. I mean, an offensive rebound off of a missed free throw and some turnovers. Really costly for Clemson. See if they can regain the momentum here in the first 4 minutes.
Other than the turnovers, from a defensive standpoint, they had done everything that was asked. They did not hit, other than Robinson, no one was really hot from the perimeter. But they defensively took the game right to Duke. On the wing, Christie. They need to get him on track. He's a streaky shooter. They come up empty, and the Blue Devils get it.
Christie's a guy who's had success in this building. He's averaged 19 points in his prior 2 appearances in Cameron. But so far in this game, no points on 0 of 2 shooting.
The Blue Devils have run 2 defenders at him on the perimeter. There's Dang into traffic, and he does get the block. One of the problems with his low post defense, this foul goes against Shea Christie. One of the problems could be attrition, because they could get into foul difficulty very quickly. You see the Clemson scoring, really all Shawan Robinson, a little help from Sherrod Ford early in the game. But Akinbala, along with Chris Hobbs, got into some early foul trouble.
Right, that's the difference in the game also is that Duke they've atypically played 9 players in that first half, and 8 of them scored, so a little more even distribution. Shawan Robinson has to find some other people to step up and score the basketball.
And then another offensive rebound, and he leaves it for Reddick. Babalola lost it out of bounds, and Duke gets another good break. When you think about it, they're up 10, and they really haven't had that kind of run that most teams see to get a 10-point lead.
Well, if you're Mike Krzyzewski, good news, bad news. So your team has not played nearly as well as it's capable of, yet you sit with the lead. So like the Florida State game, they've shown like they can play ugly.
Dang! 39-27. And a quick timeout taken by Clemson as the Blue Devils have now gotten their first double-digit lead of the night. Oliver Purnell going to the timeout. We haven't even played a minute of half number 2.
Excuse me. Hi, can I see that laptop?
Sure. You can access the internet all around your house. It's wireless networking.
Did you say wireless?
I'm free, I'm free. Not just a puppet on a string, no ties to anything.
Find your freedom. Get a $150 rebate with any laptop at Best Buy. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours.
This Valentine's Day, give her our $99 diamond love ring or this $199 diamond love bracelet, and let love speak for itself. At Zales, making moments last a lifetime.
You don't hear this phone ringing? Hello?
Hi, Mom.
Oh, where are you? You haven't called this house in 2 days. I'm so worried. Rose, who is it? Vegas.
I got married. Yeah, I got married, Mom. I eloped.
But what in the world would make you do something like this?
$24 a weekend day for any compact car at Budget.
For irresistible prices on irresistible cars, call 1-800-BUDGET-7 or visit budget.com.
Just relax. Try to think of something simple like making a collect call by dialing down the center with 1-800-CALLATT. It's free for you and cheap for them. Okay, my turn.
Save on every call. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
39-27, the number 1 Blue Devils with the lead. You see a number of point guards in the legacy of Mike Krzyzewski. Many of them are on the bench with him as his staff. Johnny Dawkins, his lead assistant, during that period in which they made their first Final Four in the golden era, his favorite team, that 86 team. And then Bobby Hurley, when the Blue Devils became rock stars in the land of Christian and Bobby. And then Wojciechowski and Elton Brand and company. And Jay Williams, of course, kept it going for the Blue Devils. That kinship between point guard and coach, and of course Duhan, Chris Duhan, really making a a case to pass Steve Wojciechowski in terms of assist-to-turnover ratio.
That's Wojo at 2.5, which is an excellent career average, especially if you throw in the freshman and half sophomore year jitters and mistakes that you usually make.
We see the veteran Duhan sitting down here in the opening stages of this half.
We'll take a look later at a list of all the point guards, Tim, and it's amazing how many head coaches are on that list now. This is Mike Krzyzewski.
Well, Robinson is fouled by Daniel Ewing, and it all began with Tom Emma.
You talked about Johnny Dawkins, associate head coach here, Tommy Amaker up at Michigan, Quinn Snyder at Missouri, Jeff Capel, a head coach at the VCU. Wojo sitting next to him, so passing on the knowledge as well, indeed. And those guys are going to be the head coaches of the future.
I believe when Jeff Capel took the job at Virginia Commonwealth, he was the youngest Division I-A head coach.
That's right.
In Richmond, Virginia, Babalola with the 3-second violation, I believe. No, actually a foul spotted. It goes against the Tigers. Player control foul against the Tigers. Going against Olu Babalola.
Johnny didn't have that passing gene in him. No. He's the all-time leading scorer here at Duke with over 2,500 points.
He's fortunate we put him in the piece, actually.
Well, and he's happy that Amaker showed up so he could shoot the ball.
J.J. Redick trying to run it down with Babalola. That may be a foul against Olu, and I believe that's not at all what Oliver Purnell needed to see. And let's go back down to Dwayne Ballin. You look at Oliver Purnell, he can't believe that foul is going against Babalola. That's his third. Dwayne?
Tim, we were talking about the point guards. Mike Krzyzewski's always tried to get his point guards to have a global approach to the game. Make sure you know what everyone else on the court is doing. He's drilled that into their head. It's more important than what you are doing. Know what the entire team is doing. He said Tommy Amaker embodied that more than any other point guard he ever had. The closest to him since then, the man sitting on the bench right now, Chris Duhan, who's actually just checked into the game. He is the closest to Amaker in embodying the complete point guard that Mike Krzyzewski wants.
And also, Dwayne, he talks about getting on to the next play. It's important that his point guards are next play guys, meaning you leave the current play behind, good or bad. You've always got to be thinking one step ahead.
Chris Duhan back on the floor now. That foul against Babalola comes at a very difficult time. That's another guy he can put on the low block defensively when Hobbs and Akinbala are in foul trouble. And now he's got 3-2. Nice play by Sherrod Ford. Crowd wanted goaltending, but that was a good no call. Redick, no look today.
Maybe J.J. Redick will step up into that point guard legacy. He has been distributing tonight very, very well. That's his 4th assist of the game.
This is now a 14-0 run for Duke. It just ended as Shawan Robinson hits the runner. They had a 9-0 spurt in the last minute of the first half and opened 5-love here in the second. 41-29. Shawan Robinson now has 16 to lead Clemson. And that one will go the other way for the Tigers.
There's the no-look pass going in, and you figure if you're a defensive player that Redick is going to finish inside. Sherrod Ford coming over, nobody on the weak side. That time, Robinson a little slow coming down to pick up the cutter.
JJ's got just enough hot dog in him. He loves the game and enjoys the moments, but never stops playing defense. Ford. And young man that you think so highly of athletically, Sherrod Ford, needs to be on the floor in this half. Tigers down by 10.
Well, and something, shooters are sometimes neurotic, and if their shot isn't going down, the rest of their game falls off. The thing that's impressive about Redick is he continues to do other things even though he isn't scoring. He's only got 5 points in this game, well below his average, but he's doing other things to help Duke.
Right on cue.
Of course, they love to shoot, too.
Timeout. Oliver Purnell a bit upset with his team not identifying the three-point shooter, and he's also a bit upset with the officials. I think he's still upset about that whistle against Olu Babalola, and he got a technical. He was calling for a timeout, but also the technical was whistled as he continued to give him lip.
Here's that look. Look at that screen right there. Deng stepping up, maybe a little bit of a moving screen, and allowed Babalola couldn't get around it.
Yeah, and you know that was the coup de grace for Oliver after what he felt was a no-call situation against Babalola, and he sees that moving pick, and he decided to let the officials know about it. See, to his
grab right there, yeah, and he felt like Babalola had a right to get the basketball. Yeah. I'll tell you, you get a technical foul against you playing Duke, and that's like giving up a layup because Reddick's going to go up and knock down 2 free throws.
I had, at first glance, thought that he was asking for a timeout. I think he may have gotten one anyway. He did. And he is still letting Bob Donato know how he feels.
Duke calling that timeout, but you know, Tim, this is how it goes against this team. We haven't even settled in here yet. It's a 15-point ball game.
Oh, absolutely. And again, other than the turnovers, which you expect because the Blue Devils will do that from time to time, and the Tigers are prone to giving them up, they had played so well and were down by 9 at the break in a game that should have been even. Don't forget next week, North Carolina State, the Rodney Dangerfields of the ACC. And Julius Hodge, one guy that does get some attention, he along with Ilya Neftimov and Inga Natsur, for that man Herb Sendek, who's now getting the most out of his Wolfpack. They are running with the pack, taking on the Duke Blue Devils in a monster matchup. Tom Brenneman will be in to call the game alongside Mike Jaminski. That'll be a fun game.
Oh, absolutely, and you know that the state fans have circled that one on their calendars, anticipating Duke's arrival there. And in recent history, the Pack has played very well against Duke in that building.
I believe they will be ranked tomorrow. Shawan Robinson off the front rim, pulled down by Williams. Nice defensive work by Akinbala, knocking it away. Hamilton wisely pulling it back, sets up the half-court offense. Ford in traffic. The bank is open on Sunday night for Sherrod Ford here in the Triangle area.
Sheldon Williams coming over to double team, overran it that time, and that allowed Ford a lane to the basket.
Dockery going crossover, blows by Hamilton. Reddick. And a foul spotted. Off the ball.
Sheldon Williams in the two-man game.
Sheldon Williams picks up the foul. That's his second.
We'll take a look at Olu Babalola here. Just a lot of times Reddick will make you grab and hold. He is doing all he can, and there's that little hip action that gets the foul.
Back with more in just a moment.
Hey, Randy, I need an ink cartridge.
We all have needs, Julie.
It's got sprinkles. Thanks.
Legal pads.
Banana nut.
I've got those muffins I owe you.
Have a paperclip.
Randy, can I have some file folders?
Half a Danish, half a folder.
Say, Randy, I went to Staples.
Staples, Randy.
It was easy, Randy.
Very easy.
People might like to know that.
What do you want from me?
Cream puff.
You monster.
Store, catalog, online, Staples. That was easy.
Donnie, will you be my Valentine?
When I first met my girlfriend, I didn't know what to say or what to give
Will
her.
you be my Valentine?
But now I've gotten better at both.
This Valentine's Day, how do you tell her your love has come a long way? A 3-stone diamond necklace from Kay Jewelers would be a great start. And you can be assured of 2 things. First, that every diamond is hand-selected for exceptional beauty. And second, that she'll absolutely love it.
My Prince Charming. Every kiss begins with K.
Word has it, someone here's trying to make a collect call. Just dial down the center with 1-800-CALLATT. It's free for you and cheap for them. What do you say you and I giddy up out of here and go hit a disco? Or not.
Save on every call. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
Sterling Marlin Marlin was a NASCAR throwback that endured years of bad luck here, fatal wrecks and death threats. Through it all, kept his eye on the checkered flag and came out on top. Beyond the Glory takes you inside the hidden world of sports' biggest stars. Sterling Marlin, Beyond the Glory tonight at 9 right here on Fox Sports Net.
Here's a look at Clemson tonight. Now, again, field goal percentage not bad, but getting out-rebounded as Duke has done a lot this year. 5 to 16 assist-to-turnover ratio. That's Sharon Robinson trying to do a lot of the offense off the dribble. Three-point shooting not a big part of their offense. And Duke only 43%, still suffering from the effects of that hangover of the game against North Carolina. But starting to stretch out this game. But give Clemson some credit. And let's see if that technical foul spurs anything, shakes something loose for the Tigers.
Yeah, I think Oliver Purnell wants to find out more about his team emotionally, about their psyche. Otherwise, I mean, he's an intelligent coach. I think he wanted that technical foul. And another turnover. Hamilton with a very poor pass.
One thing I've learned about coaches, very few technicals aren't choreographed, or without purpose and just blind rage. There's always a purpose to them.
Clemson with 17 turnovers already and still just a little less than 15 minutes remaining in the game. 10 on the shot clock. Dockery leaves it for Williams. A floater, and Dockery gets the shooter's touch. Okay, this young man out of Chicago and Julian High School has got a wonderful future.
Not the three-point threat that the other perimeter players are, but he does have that ability. Like a lot of Chicago guards, able to get into the paint area and play very strongly.
In traffic, Akinbala rejected but fouled by Sheldon Williams.
Always nice to have that friendly shooter's role. You can see Clemson really compacted 4 Tigers in the lane, really nowhere for Dockery nobody to guard him, and he does a nice job instead of carrying it all the way by pulling up. I like that little floater in the lane that guards shoot.
The ability to clamp down defensively, Mike Krzyzewski loves that about him, and actually the injuries to Ewing early in the season gave him an opportunity to play, and I believe he grew in confidence when he got to start at Michigan State. Hamilton and Sherrod Ford sit down. Christie is back on the floor for Clemson. Akinbala, Hobbs, Babalola, Christie, and Sharon Robinson on the floor now for Clemson.
After made free throws now, the opportunity for Clemson to apply a little full court pressure.
Well, you know Hobbs really wants to play better. He's scoreless so far with 3 fouls. Reddick taking it right to him. Not a bad idea, but Hobbs up to the task, taking the charge, and the player control foul against Reddick.
Well, unlike Akinbala and Ford, Hobbs is not a shot blocker, so he does the next best thing. A good job stepping up, and that time Reddick carried the play too far on the dribble. He should have pulled up.
Clemson can start making shots, and again, another poor pass. That's the wrong place for a bounce pass with no spacing. Duke just appears ripe for the picking tonight. They don't have any bounce in their step, yet lead by 13. Duhan. And another rebound by Akinbala. Not many second chances really for Duke, other than those that Sheldon Williams got towards the end of the first half. Robinson. Now those shots are going to have to fall if Clemson is going to offer a challenge.
No, especially on the road. You made a couple of nice defensive plays in these last few possessions. You've held Duke scoreless, but you haven't been able to eat into that lead with anything positive on the offensive end.
Lamar Rice will come in on the next dead ball for Clemson. Dockery didn't have a good handle, decided to drive. Tigers gave him the baseline.
So big mistake. I mean, you've got to play off Dockery and almost dare him to take that shot. You know he can drive to the basket. There's no way you can let that happen defensively.
Hobbs quickly double teamed. And another turnover. Looking for Akinbala. And Duke's defensive recognition always outstanding. stepping right into the passing lane. There's the nice pick by Randolph. And as Clemson comes up defensively, Akínbala picks it up.
Number 33.
And wholesale substitutions now for the Tigers. Hamilton coming in along with Sherrod Ford. Steve Allen, number 4, into the game for the first time, and Akínbala did pick up his third. Melchione is coming to the game for the Blue Devils. There's Dang dumping it for Shablet Randolph.
You can see with that ankle injury that Randolph, unable to explode off the floor, had to gather himself on the pass and was bailed out with a foul inside.
Steve Allen gets the foul, his first. He's holding his elbow as though he's hurt. Maybe his wrist. He's had some injury problems with his hand just coming into the game.
And disappointing to him. He doesn't get much playing
No,
time.
he
Only
does
averages
not.
about 5 minutes per. You just get onto the floor and you have to leave. Heartbreaker for him. Hobbs coming back on.
Well, one of the reasons he had to come in, too, was because of foul trouble. Hobbs has 3, so does Akínbala.
Lee Melchione earning a second shift in the second half after that first half ending 3-point bomb. Allen being led to the locker room.
Well, we talked of Duke being number 1. How about the case for the unbeatens that are not number 1 after yesterday's play? That remarkable win for Stanford against Arizona. Robinson's runner and Jameer Nelson and Phil Martelli's team still unbeaten. St. Joseph's.
Yeah, it's and the town of Philadelphia is really swept up in St. Joe's success, and of course Mike Montgomery just has got a machine going on the West Coast in Stanford. I mean, I think they're almost a lock to be number 1 seed in the West. But I don't know. You look at it. It'll be interesting to see if and how the season plays out if St. Joe's is rewarded with the number 1 seed if they finish undefeated.
I believe they will be rewarded with the number 1 seed. Sherrod Ford getting it in. They played some high-caliber teams non-conference. Dang. And a reach-in foul against Hamilton. I saw them absolutely blister Gonzaga early in the year in a game played in New York.
His first personal foul, 7th on the team.
And Dang will get to the free throw line.
Luol Deng will be at the line for the Luol Deng. I mean, he was introduced to the North Carolina rivalry full frontal. He had a concussion. He was knocked out for a brief second in that game.
I asked him how long he was out. He said, if I knew, I'd tell you. But he did manage to get up, and it came at a time, really, when you think about it. It was 69-62 North Carolina. A couple of calls had gone, marginal calls had gone North Carolina's way. The Devils could have been dead and buried at that point, but as usual, they grinded out when you least expect it.
Duke has done a fabulous job in this game. Interior passing, something Clemson has been unable to do, and a lot of it has been J.J. Redick, their leading scorer.
Some Sunday best dishes on ACC Sunday Night Hoops here in Durham.
One company brings value to your life in more ways than you can imagine. With high-performance components that power the technologies you can't live without. From sophisticated satellite communications to high-reliability medical devices that make life worth living longer. One company makes components for all these things and more to bring new value to our world. Kyocera.
I'm Jesse James. When it comes to my cars, I'm a hands-on kind of guy. I trust the pros at AutoZone for all the stuff I need. If you care enough about your car, get in the zone. AutoZone.
Think before you move. SOCOM 2, U.S. Navy SEALs, rated M for mature.
Objective completed.
Just relax. Try to think of something simple like making a collect call by dialing down the center with 1-800-CALLATT. It's free for you and cheap for them. Okay, my turn.
Save on every call. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
Advance Auto Parts. No matter when or where.
There's nothing worse than being ready to go and your car won't. So we're ready in advance. Ready with the right equipment, the right people, and the right parts. All at ready to go, low prices. And if it's your battery, we'll install it for free. So bring it on. We're ready in advance.
For the best parts, people and price. We're ready in advance. Yeah, bring it on.
53-37, the Blue Devils with a 16-point lead. We were talking about the legacy of point guards for Mike Krzyzewski. We should remember that he's a little partial, and why not? He was one himself at West Point. And by the way, I don't know, we'll have to ask him, did he wear number 12 only after they retired number 14?
That's right. Something went on there, but move on. You might recognize the man standing to his left, your right, Coach Bob Knight.
Yeah, that was when he didn't have to eat salads for lunch. Bob Knight, before he had to have that much roughage back in the 60s.
They're standing there arguing who's going to win more games as a head coach in their career.
Who's inducting whom into the Hall of Fame? 53-37. 16-point lead. Rice, not there. There's Hobbs on the glass, looking for help and gives it to Hamilton. The Sherrod Ford and Shawan Robinson have kept the Tigers at least within striking distance. Rice with the follow.
And Rice had 11 points in the game down in Clemson against Duke, and they need him to step up, especially with Shawan Robinson out of the ball game right now. They need other people to score.
Ford and Robinson have combined for 28 for Clemson. The rest of the team just 11 points. Hobbs trying to run it down, goes right into the Cameron Crazy row one. They should be awfully nice because he is a local product. Just down 15-501, East Chapel Hill High School. They're going to take good care of him. He's a nice young fellow.
An inspiring play right here. You see how much this game means to him. Avoided most of the press covering the game. That's a little bit to the left of where most of the press sits.
You could say that was a Hobbs that was unnatural. Going into the front row. Mom and Dad getting a kick out of it. First the concern, and then is he all right? Fine, well, you can manage a smile out of the deal. Christie almost with the pick of Reddick. Dockery, Randolph, Reddick, Williams, and Duhan on the floor for the Blue Devils. Williams gets caught moving his feet a bit too quickly. We were talking a little bit about Stanford and St. Joseph's. I kind of think one of the reasons that Duke is ranked number one over the unbeaten teams, and particularly Stanford, it's a little bit of an indictment of the Pac-10. Its strength of schedule. That league is not having one of its better years. Although Arizona would beg to differ, they had that game under control until late yesterday.
No question. They'd won the last 4 meetings at Stanford.
Nice offensive rebound by Ford. Nice duck under move. There's the follow by Hobbs. He just can't buy one here. Still an offer for the native of Chapel Hill.
Had no points in the game at Clemson, but really had severely turned his ankle against Boston College the game before. It was a miracle, really, that he was even in that game playing.
Reddick, Hobbs goes in, takes the charge. Nice move. And he did that with 3 fouls. Now you could argue whether that was a block or a charge, but I'll tell you this. It's a very courageous play with 3 fouls.
Well, you see the front court for Duke really dominating in this game, and that was a matchup that Clemson really had to stay close in to have a good chance in this ball game.
But again, that said, we haven't seen that dynamic Duke flurry all night from an offensive standpoint. They had a run at the end of the half. Ford counted and a foul. They basically shot themselves in the foot, as you mentioned, at the end of the first half. and then the technical foul and a 5-point run to start the second half, and that's why we're where we are.
And that being said, Sherrod Ford stepping up, and he has been a scoring factor in this game as well. 14 points now, a chance for 15.
He and Robinson, 30 points combined between the two of the 41 scored by Clemson.
Blue double foul on Lil Dang. Pass is good by number 5.
Let's go back down to Dwayne Bell.
He's at the line shooting.
Hobbs this morning, he said to me, you know, he's been here all 4 years. He's a senior. He said this is the most together team he has ever been on at Clemson. He says more than any other unit. These guys actually believe that they can win, and that's a big thing down at Little John in Clemson.
I think that Chris Hobbs, it will be a player that Oliver Purnell wished he had a little longer than 1 year, and I believe Hobbs would have, when it's all said and done, would have hoped that he had gotten to play for Oliver Purnell more than one season. Ewing, too strong. And the rebound finally controlled to Sherrod Ford. Duke just doesn't seem to have the knockout punch in them tonight. Nice look, Hobbs, and on the way up, Robinson lost it. Did a pretty good job of playing defender there with the ball. It was last touched by the Devils, and Clemson controls with 19 seconds left on the shot clock.
Well, and you say all those things about Chris Hobbs, but I think it's good, Tim. At least he gets to go out on a high note, that he feels good about this team, and he gets his first 2 points.
Yeah, nice special run off of the inbounds. Get his first bucket, and they're only down 10. And the Cameron Crazies are beginning to get a little unsettled. Would like to see more offense from their number 1 Blue Devil. There's Reddick. It's a good place to go if you want to get well offensively.
Wow, that time Christie tried to cheat the screen, and when you do that against Reddick, it gives him too much time.
Ford with Dang on his hit. There's the help from Williams, and it's a foul. Sheldon has 3. This one will go against him again. That will be his 4th personal foul.
Foul was called on Sheldon Williams.
Well, here's the look. You're going to see Luol Deng set a screen down here, and then he's going to come off from the weak side on the play. And you try to go over the top. Deng does a good job of adjusting, but you know there's really not a lot you can do. Sherrod Ford is their main shot blocker. He can't switch out on Reddick. So that's why it's an effective play to kind of keep him blocked inside, and Reddick gets a good look. If you're going to do anything against Reddick on a screen, Tim, you've got to stay behind him and follow.
Randolph comes into the game to replace Sheldon Williams, who does have 4 fouls. Ford gets 1 out of 2 at the line. It's an 11-point game. This is just one of those grinders for Duke.
Much like the Florida State game, as you said, very similar.
Foul goes against Shawan Robinson, his 2nd.
His 2nd.
You know, the Tigers, if they don't come away with a win, they'll be licking their wounds over the last minute of half number 1. When tied at 29,
1-1.
they suddenly let Duke get a couple of offensive rebounds, a couple of turnovers that they didn't need at that point in the game. February 22nd, the world's best drivers return to Fox for the Subway 400 at the Rock. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart lead the field for 17 weeks of high-speed thrills, excitement. NASCAR returns February 22nd, only on Fox. 57-44. Blue Devils by a baker's dozen. Ford, sweet. Boy, he's playing well tonight.
Well, and really, you know, the interior players for Clemson over the last few years were not really featured in the offense. It was dominated by perimeter players, but Oliver Purnell likes to get those guys touches, and Sherrod Ford is rewarding him in this game.
Foul goes against Olu Babalola. 4 on Olu. And Oliver Purnell, you see that proverbial whodunit look on his face. You know, Babalola is a versatile defender. He's played both on the perimeter defensively as well as on the interior tonight. And Hobbs, who's been playing with 3. Akinbala's in foul difficulty as well. He can ill afford to lose number 12 in orange.
And I think it's fascinating for Babalola, his ability to chase on the perimeter. A guy like Reddick, he's a big body and you expect him to bang inside, but to run around in the perimeter, tough order for him.
It's a home of a number of national titles. A few crystals can be found outside Cameron Indoor Stadium's gym.
This Valentine's Day, ask for her hand all over again with Zales half-carat princess cut diamond ring for just $1.99. Exclusively at Zales, making moments last a lifetime.
The Home Depot is more than a store. It's flooring you love with every step you take. Create a new look for your home with Command Performance Textured Carpet, a high-quality carpet at a great low price. Now's the perfect time to make it happen at home with this plush, stylish carpet available in 15 colors. Plus, right now, get no payments, no interest for 6 months on any purchase of $299 or more when you use your Home Depot credit card. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Word has it, someone here's trying to make a collect call. Just dial in the center at 1-800-CALLATP. It's free for you and cheap for them. What do you say you and I giddy up out of here and go hit a disco? Or not.
Save on every call. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
Cliff? Yeah. I have a letter from the CEO at Sanders. Let me read some of it. 1,200 separate shipments, national rollout, everything arrived on time. I was asking for a miracle, and you delivered. Thank you.
Shipping you can count on. Small miracles included.
Everyone, my office. You too, Sam.
UPS. What can Brown do for you?
No, Bugsy, in our line of work, I'm glad we have that insurance. What insurance, Doc? Nope, that's not it. The one that pays you cash if you get hurt and can't work. And Dad's, it's right on the tip of my bill. Flapjack? Aflac!
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Tink, I knew the name all along.
The Durham where Duke leads Clemson in the second half. Now, for those of you who watch ACC Sunday Night Hoops, you may not know what we mean when we say the triangle. Well, this is what it is. The Research Triangle Park here in North Carolina. It's a triangle area with Durham, Raleigh, and Chapel Hill as the main metro areas. But for the Clemson Tigers, this might as well be the Bermuda Triangle. They are 146 in the one-loss column in the triangle, 4-52 alone in Durham. It's been a difficult time for them. That road has been extremely rough. Those Tigers have been turned into kittens, guys, along the triangle.
Get your licks in now, because I think Oliver Burnell is going to turn things around. You know, they've recruited very well already in the early signing period. Mike, Oliver Burnell's staff has done a marvelous job. Frankie Smith, Ron Bradley and company. Bradley spent some time at James Madison before joining this staff. I don't think Oliver's going to have much of a problem in procuring talent for the style of play that he wants.
And he's already noticed, you know, you go calling and recruiting and you're Clemson, you're playing in the ACC. It's big time stuff.
Babalola goes to the glass and attacks it. And again, the Tigers hanging around, down by only 11.
Babalola is a player, a little unconventional. He's right-handed, but he loves to go to his left, and you've got to try to cut that off. That time he was able to get there and made a nice move to the basket.
Dang. He fooled somebody that time.
You know, that guy with the ball is pretty important. You got to stay with him, and Clemson fell asleep.
Career high for him. His previous high was against Georgia Tech. He had 22 in that game. He's carried the Dukies tonight.
So he's just falling asleep. Right now, when Sherrod Ford, he thinks he's got help, and he picks up the dribble, and he just kind of backed off a little bit and allowed Deng, who is so long, to get to the rim with one step.
You think of Deng and his career high being 22. I mean, that tells you all you need to know about the team concept here with the Blue Devils, because I dare say a talent such as his, playing for just about any other team in the country, that career high would have been around 32, not 22.
No question, but, you know, 4 double-figure scorers. Reddick is your guy outside. Real nice balance. Duhan just below double figures at 9.6 points, so very balanced offense.
Shea Christie comes into the game for Babalolo, appears to be hobbling a little bit. And he does need some time on the pine anyway. He has 4 fouls. 61-49. Dang joined by Reddick. Dockery running the point. Duhan on the wing along with Randolph for the Blue Devils. Reddick left free. Akindbala on the deck. Randolph was able to get it and call the timeout. With 6:27 remaining. You see the story tonight. It's really been Luol Deng that has stabilized this really tired Duke team. And I think that when we noticed that Melchioni and Horvath were coming into the game early, I think you could sense that Duke was a tired team, but again, they rely on their defense, and that's what holds them on.
No question. That's after they kind of rededicated themselves after the Purdue loss. They've got 11 steals in this game. Really haven't had to trap all that much. Most of this is man-to-man, and they've turned a lot of those into points, and that's the one thing Oliver Purnell really concerned with, the easy baskets that Duke was able to generate off their defense.
There you see our Bank of America higher standards defenses of the ACC. And there are some good ones, holding your opponents to 39%. I mean, when all else fails, Duke knows that the defensive end of the floor is going to be taken care of.
Well, it should be, and it should be consistent. You know, your shooting is going to come and go, Tim, and most nights are not for Duke. It's been on, but against games like Florida State and Clemson here tonight, Duke has had to grind things out, and you know, when you can always fall back on your defense, it's very comforting for a team, and this team has really bought into that concept.
Shea Christie gets the foul, his third.
And that's the 10th on the team.
Mike Krzyzewski always gives some nuggets that make you think. You see Johnny Dawkins and Steve Wojciechowski with him. When asked the question by many in the media about, you know, how do you come back after a magnificent win in one of the true classics of the regular season, he says it's a little like Broadway. You know, you go to a play, you have to produce a play on Friday night, come back with a Saturday matinee. Well, Thursday night you could say was the producers, and tonight perhaps the Blue Men group for this Duke team, hanging on and getting it done. By the way, there are a few people dressed in blue.
Just a couple.
Yeah, just a few. Hence the line Blue Men group.
I'm swept away by your artistry, Tim.
Well, you know, I'm cultured if nothing else, right?
You want to be a thespian, don't you? The roar of the grease paint, the smell of the crowd.
Absolutely. And a foul spotted again inside. This one against Shavlik Randolph.
Shavlik Randolph, his second. 19 foul.
But it is interesting that this Duke team, and I think any club that is #1 or perhaps is unbeaten, to sustain prosperity, you really have to play against yourself, don't you? I mean, it's not about the opponent necessarily. It can't be.
No, in most of their games, you know, they talk about, look, we've got to focus on what we do. Yes, obviously they scout, they prepare, they know what the other team wants to do, but they have concepts and things that they're running that they feel confident in, and if they do those things well, then more times than not, they're going to win a ball game.
Randolph, Dang again with a wonderful pass, and then on the double team, another foul. This one against Christie, reaching in.
And he's hobbling, and then Randolph has had a tough time, like Hobbs, in this game, finishing inside. Haven't been able to get anything up quickly. The defense has been able to converge. Unfortunately for Randolph, he's had the opportunity to get to the free throw line a couple of times.
The officials had to call the Tigers back over to the free throw line for this effort. Oliver Purnell wanted to talk to his point guard, and the entire team ran over to him. Let's go back over to Dwayne.
Tim, Sean Robinson of Clemson, number 22, he had been in this building before donning a Clemson uniform. He grew up nearby in Raleigh, went to Leesville Road High School, and his cousin Jamal played at Virginia, so he would come over and watch him play against the Blue Devils. I talked to him earlier tonight. He said he could not wait to get out here and put on an opposing uniform and have the Duke crazies go after him. So for him, believe it or not, he likes this. And he's a great student, by the way. 3.6 GPA, outstanding student, academic, all-conference, and he's on the honor roll again.
Another offensive rebound for Duke. These have come at the most inopportune times for Clemson.
This is 3 or 4 I can remember off of free throws.
Absolutely.
And now Duke is going to go out and run some clock.
12 offensive rebounds for the Devils, and at least 4 of them have come off of free throws after 2-shot fouls on the second shot, and a quick timeout after the steal by Sherrod Ford, but I believe they're saying it was a tie ball. The alternate possession will be Duke's. So there was no timeout given. I believe Ford was simply trying to get the timeout, right, but the tie ball was called first. Take a look at our game summary sponsored by Staples. Clemson only 50% at the stripe. That won't get it done. Dang carrying his team tonight. 7 out of 10 from the floor.
Actually, it's 50% field goal shooting, or 48. So that's very good for Clemson. When they've taken care of the basketball, good things have happened for them. So that's and that's, it's interesting. That was a departure in the game down in Clemson. Duke only went to the line 6 times in that game. It really wasn't a big part of it. So the free throw line being their ally.
Really not sure what this conversation is about. Evidently, it's the shot clock. Many times in these situations, that's the one problem that we do have with our location not being on the floor as opposed to up in the top of Cameron Indoor Stadium. There you see it is at 8 seconds.
And the students reminding the referees that it's a school night, so they wanted to get this addressed early as possible.
Williams on the offensive boards. And a walk. As he went back up, Mike Krzyzewski not happy with that call.
Well, and unfortunately, that call shouldn't have happened because Sheldon Williams was at point-blank range with the first offensive rebound, and he wasn't able to knock it down.
Robinson taking it inside, but a foul spotted prior to that. I believe it will go against Clemson.
Clemson foul on number 33.
Goes against Akinbala, and that's his 4th. They'll add him to the group with 4 fouls. Babalolo being the other, and he's coming into the game now, replacing Vernon Hamilton.
Shea Christie
also checks in.
Clemson.
You'd expect from Clemson in the last 4 minutes and 53 seconds, anytime they can set up this full court pressure.
Dockery beats it. Made it look easy.
Yeah, and that's just, that's a defensive lapse right there. Somebody has to step up and stop dribble penetration, and nobody really got in Dockery's way. Maybe we won't see that full court connection very much.
And off the ball, another foul. I believe they may have whistled Sheldon Williams.
Bruno foul on number 23. Sheldon
That's 5 on Sheldon, so that'll do it for him today.
That's his 5th personal foul. 10 on the team.
4:31 remaining. And the timeout. You look ahead now, the ACC race and the distance that Duke has managed to get for themselves with that win against North Carolina. They get North Carolina State, as we mentioned, next week. They've got 3 very tough road games to play in this conference. The one against NC State. They have to go to Wake Forest, a team that, as you said, has lost 6 of its last 8, but is always dangerous, and many believe matches up better with Duke than just about any other team. And, of course, Florida State in Tallahassee in a game that we will have the last week in February here on ACC Sunday Night Hoops.
Right. You look at it, though, and those are landmines that are out there, but this team undefeated on the road, and 6 of their last 9 games are in this building here. So the schedule really turns in their favor in the second half, where they had to fight. They were mismatched 5 and 3 on the road. early, but sailed through that. So things really turning around for Duke.
Clemson's last field goal almost 3 minutes ago. They're down by 15 with 4:25 to play. Devils trying to force Clemson to play as many of the 35 seconds per possession as possible. Randolph. Nice double clutch in midair by Shatlin Randolph, the sophomore from Raleigh. Gets the deuce, 68-51.
If you're a shot blocker like Sherrod Ford, I don't think you should try to buy a foul like that on the charge. I mean, you got to stand your ground and make a play defensively. And that's what allowed Randolph to get the layup.
Timeout, 3:54 remaining, and the Blue Devils becoming a bit more methodical. See what I told you about the Blue Men group? There are a lot of people in blue. Yeah,
got it.
Okay, sometimes it takes a while.
Goes. More importantly, Blue Jackets get a power play. Blue Jackets have had a lot of those the last 2 home games. 15 combined. Richardson knocked down the ice, and he gets the puck ahead, doing his job, and Lachance able to clear.
Introducing Blue Cash, a new card from American Express. It gives you up to 5% cash back on virtually everything you buy. The more you use it, the more you get back.
The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. I need money. That's what I
So call 1-800-BLUE-CASH now to apply and start earning up to 5% back. Blue Cash, it's so money. New Blue Cash, the card that gives you up to 5% cash back with the flexibility to pay over time. No annual fee and 0% APR for 6 months.
I need money. That's what I want.
Oh, and did we mention? You get up to 5% cash back. Call 1-800-BLUE-CASH now to apply. Blue Cash from American Express. It's blue with a lot of green.
The Fox Sports Net Party Tour is on the move. Get to Feel the Fire in downtown Cleveland and join the party. We'll have tons of Fox Sports Net gear to hand out, and we'll get you registered for some unbelievable prizes. So get to Feel the Fire in downtown Cleveland and join the party.
Next Sunday, Run with the Pack on ACC Sunday Night Hoops. Julius Hodge with plenty of help. Ingan Atsur has established himself as an outstanding backcourt mate for Hodge, and the matchup advantage of Marcus Melvin has turned the Wolfpack into a team that's much deserving of a top 25 ranking that they will no doubt have somewhere this week. They take on the Blue Devils next week, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific time, ACC Sunday Night Hoops. And look at the story on those guys. I mean, Evtimov really is the guy that drives that offensive backdoor cutting style of Herb Sindex, but Melvin has really played well of late.
Well, Evtimov is key for to play well, but I really think the barometer of that team is Marcus Melvin. Hodge is an all-ACC performer. He brings it every night, but Marcus Melvin, when he plays well and when he's scoring, that team is tough to beat.
Ron Robinson, well on his way to a 20-point effort tonight. 68-53. Reddick. Hobbs, that's going to be a block. Counted, and the foul.
I tell you, almost single-handedly, Sean Dockery has destroyed Clemson's full-court press, and he's done it off the dribble. And that time, Reddick, a nice job coming to the 2-foot jump stop and then going up. Hobbs trying to buy the play, and Reddick about to make a 3-point play on it.
That's really rare. I believe we may have had a lane violation anyway. Or perhaps a foul. A push.
Reddick looks like he's in shock.
He's only missed 3 all year. And Randolph does pick up the foul. His 3rd on the push. I mean, you just witnessed something that doesn't happen. He was 75 of 77 coming into tonight, J.J. Reddick, at the free throw line. And, of course, broke the ACC record for consecutive free throws. a few weeks back in Virginia in a game that we had here.
That was Jeff Lamp's record, and he broke it on his home court.
We actually talked to Jeff that night.
And, you know, for Reddick, something when you can remember every single one of your misses in a season.
Hobbs finally gets one to roll down for him. His first free throw made. He has 3 points on the night. 70-54. Well, a pretty good defensive effort by Ford that time, and he can't believe that the ball's not going back to Clemson. Duke will hold on to it, and I believe we've got an injured Blue Devil. We do. It may be Dockery. It is. He slipped, it appeared, as Ford gave him the defensive pressure. And I gather that the ball must have deflected off of Ford. It appeared to be a turnover. But a lot of times here in Cameron Indoor Stadium, and you'll notice after shots are made, many times ball boys will come out and towel off the floor. It can get hot. And
here's the play that Ford and his leg just, it went out from underneath him. And I don't know if that time that could be a groin or a knee.
Watch what happens as he comes down.
It's his left leg.
Yep.
I think you're just kind
right
of,
there.
Yeah, kind of rolled an ankle. Yeah. Just caught an edge right there. It's stuck. He was trying to cut up the court.
Boy, and that ball did not deflect off of Ford. That should be Clemson's basketball. Not the concern now, though, is for Sean Dockery. As well it should be.
And he is walking gingerly with assistance, too. Not a good sign.
Yeah, and that's a closed down, man-to-man defensive perimeter player. He needs to be completely healthy. The limbs are very important to specialists like that. So there is a great deal of concern here.
Number 13, Lee Keone for the Blue Devils.
Keone has come into the game along with Duhan, Tang, Reddick, and Randolph on the floor for the Blue Devils. 3:15 and counting from Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duhan, too strong. Tapped out, Reddick trying to save it. And he and Hamilton arm in arm on the Duke bench.
Clemson foul
will go against Hamilton.
Well, if you're J.J. Reddick, you feel pretty good about flying over at the Duke bench. You know you're going to land in some friendly arms.
Shooting for the Blue Devils, number 4.
Talked about at the top that Ewing had some health issues. Reddick actually also hamstring problems coming off his summer play. Really didn't get a lot of preseason conditioning. And I think that's what reflected in his poor shooting earlier in the year. But now he's rounding into shape, and those numbers coming up. Over 50% in ACC games from the floor and from behind the three-point arc.
Nick Horvath has come back into the game now for Duke. Randolph sits down.
Number 14.
Shea Christie comes back in, replacing Lamar Rice for Clemson. This is going to be, in the aftermath, one of those games that got away from Clemson. They had a very good chance tonight to be much more competitive than they were. And Duke managing to gut it out, clearly with a bit of hangover from Thursday night's effort against North Carolina. Reddick with the pick and the deuce. And he'll get to the strike.
And that's the quietest 22 points you'll ever see. I mean, Reddick, it doesn't seem like he's been involved in the offense, Tim, because he really hasn't hit a lot of long three-point bombs in this game. But he's done it 2 at a time, and he's made three-point plays the conventional way.
I think that statistically, when the game is over, that people will be able to look at it in print. In tomorrow's papers, it'll say a 14-0 run, 9-point spurt at the end of the first half. But you never really saw the classic Duke flurry tonight. And yet they systematically dismantled Clemson with their defense and have a very comfortable 20-point lead with 2:52 remaining. Think about this with Mike Krzyzewski when we start talking about rarefied air with Coach K.
That's pretty good company.
Coaching with the #1 ranking and by a large margin over Dean Smith and Adolph Rupp. I mean, by a large margin.
And then, of course, Coach Wooden right at the top. That's an extraordinary number, but 161 games, and then that's over 5 seasons, full seasons, coaching the #1 ranked team.
And there's Sean Dockery being taken into the locker room. He's been doing it for so long now, people almost forget the job Bill Foster did here, taking your team to the Final Four. Back in 1978.
Well, and if anything, and it's like all the great ones, you know, like Coach Smith over at North Carolina, you don't fully appreciate them until they're gone.
Yeah.
Or Coach Wooden, I mean, you know, look what's happened over the years at UCLA, all the coaches, and you know, the standard, you know, who's going to sit in that seat once he's gone? It's going to be the same type of situation, and I think it's going to take that perspective for people around here to fully appreciate his legacy.
There are only a few programs, when you think about it, Mike, that are outstanding in college basketball that their legacy truly is their coach. North Carolina has managed to go to Final Four since Dean Smith. Indiana has gone to a Final Four since Bob Knight. But you think about, as an example, Georgetown since John Thompson, it's not the same. I mean, when Mike Krzyzewski's done, it's not going to be easy for whoever takes over at Duke whenever that day comes.
Well, I think the difference is, though, in those other programs you mentioned, they went to Final Fours before those coaches got there. So, you know, Frank McGuire goes to a Final Four.
Yeah,
you know, so that's where the continuum is, and then these coaches are part of that. And so, you know, we have to keep a little bit of perspective.
Absolutely. Duhan, only a couple of points, does have 4 assists, looking for a 5th there as they got it to Horvath. Let's take a look at our Kyocera play of the game.
This is the look, that no-look pass. Luol Deng really carried this team offensively in the first half when they needed it. And the no-look, or the look away by J.J. Redick, showing that not only can he score points, but also he can distribute pretty well.
Akinbala picked up his 5th, so there's some time for Oliver Purnell to get someone new into the game with 2:12 remaining. Luol Deng tying his career high. He had that against Georgia Tech on January the 31st. For a period during the first half when Clemson had some control in the game, it was Luol Deng that really carried Duke, kept them in the game. Waving goodbye to Akin Akinbala.
But all the players who come in here know that, and a lot of them will just stand over there for a while to draw it out. And the fans are good. They'll be quiet for the free throw, and then they'll restart the chant.
Have you ever thought about how bad it would have been for you to be an opponent in this building?
There's a perverse side of me that it's just one game. One game I would have liked to have come in here and then see what they would have come up with.
I think they would have had another nickname for you besides the G-Man.
You think?
Hobbs. Well, actually, that's Ford. I beg your pardon. Hobbs was in the mix. Sherrod had the ball and draws the foul inside. First time through the Atlantic Coast Conference. Always difficult when you get into a league for the first time.
Is every bit as good as I thought it would be, perhaps a little bit better in that some of the teams that were the so-called bottom dwellers of the last 2 or 3 years are now excellent basketball teams, some of the top teams in the country, Florida State, Georgia Tech, you know, so on and so forth. So it is by far the best league in the country. I recognize it would be the best league in the country. It is by far the best league in the country, and we just happen to be playing the best team in the country tonight.
Well said by Oliver Purnell. And while that was going on, Luol Deng checked out of the game. And Ford got one of the 2 free throws.
When I asked Oliver, and he said he felt it's going to take probably a couple of years, 2-3 years, before he has a real feel for all the coaches in the league and how they coach and the matchups. He had a sense of Mike Krzyzewski, hadn't played against him last year with Dayton, and Gary Williams, he had a sense of his game as well. But really, when he first got to Dayton, he felt it took 2 or 3 years before he was completely comfortable.
Horvath. Off the feed from Patrick Johnson, number 51, the junior from Atlanta, with the nice pass. And the lead is catapulted to 24. This is one of those, when you look up in the morning, it will not be indicative of really the kind of game it was for the road team. They just lost their confidence. After that technical foul, I think Oliver Burnell was hoping for something good to happen. It never did.
No, it just, when you're playing against a team like Duke that has the defensive pressure for the whole game, it is a war of attrition, and they feast on mistakes and little lapses in concentration. Just Clemson not good enough at a ball handling a team to play for 40 minutes defensively against Duke.
Andy Borman coming to the game now for the Blue Devils, number 40 in white.
1 minute.
Duhan looking to dish, does so to Johnson. Patrick Johnson has an assist and a bucket. Patrick Davidson comes into the game now, and Duhan sits. I asked Chris if the senior needed that extra day, a Sunday game rather than Saturday, after the effort expended on Thursday. He smiled wryly and said, "Oh, well, it doesn't hurt to get an extra day."
Well, and the lucky thing for Duke is they got the day after that off, so a chance to completely get away and rest.
That move he made, going coast to coast, will be remembered in that the rivalry that is the classic that North Carolina and Duke is for quite some time.
That was a great move by Mike Krzyzewski, not calling a timeout in that situation, letting you, and it takes a senior point guard to make a play like that, a guy who's been in a national championship game.
Very big week coming up for the Devils. They'll no doubt hold on to their #1 ranking. Clemson will drop to 9-11 on the year, 2-7 in the ACC. Win number 20 coming up for the Devils. And the streak will continue. Borman at the buzzer. They'll count it. Oh no, they'll wave it off. Final score is 81-55. A 26-point win for the Devils, led by 9 at halftime. Back with post-game activities after this.
On February 20th, 2 men will settle their score.
I'll take a 7. It's 15. No way! Let's count them. 1 out of bounds, 4 in the sand, 9, you almost hit me. 10, you did hit me. That's when you said that curse that I've never heard before. 15 in the hole.
Ray Romano.
I'm running for the mayor of Mooseport!
Gene Hackman.
I'm running against the man installing my toilets?
Welcome to Mooseport. Rated PG-13. February 20th. Only in theaters.
What's that?
The wireless bill.
Frustrated with your high wireless bill? Take your number to a better place. Call 1-800-T-Mobile and get the best value in wireless. And now get T-Mobile 3-day weekends with unlimited calling.
T-Mobile. Get more.
The 2003 J.D. Power & Associates Award for Most Dependable Full-Size SUV just went to the GMC Yukon. Professional grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to.
We see Fiona exploring a new world, filled with learning, filled with wonder. We see standing ovations and records beat. We see her graduating at the head of her class. We see kids full of potential. We are inspired to create software that helps them reach it.
Welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium, where #1 Duke has beaten 81-55 victory tonight over Clemson. Luol Deng, 22 points for you, matching your career high. Was not a textbook Duke victory, was it?
No, I mean, Clemson played a very good game in the first half. They stayed in the game, and they played a great defense. Our defense was the key again. We allowed them to 50-something point, which is what we rely on. We always rely on our D. Our offense was slow in the first half, but we knew eventually it would come on. But in the second half, we just played a great team defense, and everybody contributed, and it was just a great team win.
Well, congratulations on your play, too. 22 points, matching a career high. Luol Deng helping Duke to a win over Clemson tonight. We'll be back with more of AC Sunday Night Hoops after this.
Contenders battle it nationwide. Todd Marchand follows the Blue Jackets. Matthias Nordstrom leads the Kings. Let the battle commence. Blue Jackets, Kings, Wednesday at 7 on Fox Sports Net.
Dramatic. Hypnotic. Climactic. The clock is ticking. Don't miss the new season of The Sopranos, only on HBO. Order HBO now from Adelphia, and you'll also get gigantic Hollywood hits. Plus, with Adelphia Digital Cable, you'll get multiple channels of HBO. HBO from Adelphia Digital Cable. The time to order is now.
Call now and get high-speed internet with HBO for only $24.95 a month for 5 months.
Looking to save big bucks on some great-looking furniture? Then you need to head for Furniture Row Outlet's President's Day's no-interest payments for 2 years savings event, which means for a limited time only, not only will you get incredible bargains on some incredible-looking furniture, you'll also get no interest for 2 years. That's no interest until February 2006. Now's the time to roll into Furniture Row Outlet. Our President's Day's 2-year no-interest finance offer ends soon. 4744 Warrensville Center Road in North Randall.
Jay Reddick, 22 points in the victory tonight over Clemson. Was not a typical 22-point game for you because you weren't raining down three-pointers.
No, I didn't get off to a very good start shooting the basketball. Fortunately today, I found other ways to score and help my team. We just didn't come to play in the first half, and I didn't come to play, and fortunately we were able to pull it out though.
How much of it quickly was a shake-off of the North Carolina game?
We can't use that as an excuse. Clemson came to play today. We weren't hungry in the first half.
Okay, J.J. Reddick, 22 points. You guys start the second half. How do you feel heading in 1-0 in the second half of the ACC?
Yeah, we are 1-0. That's what we wanted to start off. And, we got UVA Wednesday. We'll just keep this thing rolling.
Thanks a lot, J.J. J.J. Reddick, 22 points tonight in Duke's victory over Clemson. Tim?
All right, Dwayne, thank you very much. And again, our final score here, the Blue Devils, number 1 with a bullet, beating Clemson 81-55. Join us again next Sunday on ACC Sunday Night Hoops as the top-ranked Blue Devils travel down to Tobacco Road to meet rival North Carolina State, who's playing well. Stand alone in second, should be ranked by this time next week. For Mike Chiminski and Dwayne Ballin, this is Tim Brando saying goodbye, everyone, from Cameron Indoor Stadium, home of the number 1 Blue Devils of Duke.
One company values the environment by creating solar panels that convert sunlight into a clean source of energy. Ceramic components that make our engines run cleaner. And the most earth-friendly copiers and printers on the planet. One company does all these things and more to bring new value to our world. Kyocera.
Just relax. Try to think of something simple like making a collect call by dialing down the center with 1-800-CALLATT. It's free for you and cheap for them. Okay, my turn.
Save on every call. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
Donnie, will you be my Valentine?
When I first met my girlfriend, I didn't know what to say or what to give
Will
her.
you be my Valentine?
But now I've gotten better at both.
This Valentine's Day, how do you tell her your love has come a long way? A 3-stone diamond necklace from K Jewelers would be a great start. And you can be assured of 2 things. First, that every diamond is hand-selected for exceptional beauty. And second, that she'll absolutely love it.
My Prince Charming.
Every kiss begins with K.
I got you something.
Oh, you shouldn't have. Oh, this is nice. And here's yours. I know it's not fancy, but it's what's inside that counts. And what's inside is Labatt Blue.
Wow.
Huh?
I love it.
Break out the blue. Labatt Blue.
Awesome gift. Oh, yeah.
Word guys, there's someone here's trying to make a collect call. Just dial down the center with 1-800-CALLATT. It's free for you and cheap for them. What do you say you and I giddy up out of here and go hit a disco? Or not.
Save on every call. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
Tonight on The Stamp, world champ Rodney Harrison, the star from the film Miracle, Kurt Russell, lead singer of Creed, Scott Stapp. Leanne defends her title at the Cadillac Super Bowl Grand Prix and takes us along for the ride.
You're only going to be seeing the back of my helmet.
They're dancing in the streets.
The best damn sports show, period.
Starts right now.
Hey there! Welcome to the Best Damn Sports Show. I'm Chris Rhodes. Hopefully you know the rest of the guys by now, but in case you don't, please welcome a three-time Pro Bowler, the recently retired Lincoln Kennedy. He's a four-time NBA champion, the Spider-Man, John Sally. And he's an actor. Hey, come on, everybody. Now, guys, we are back from Houston. We had some great guests this week. We had Kurt Russell, Leanne Tweeden in her Grand Prix race, Scott Stapp, lead singer from Creed.
He was good.
Kurt Russell, though, amazing. The guy's turning 53 soon.
Yeah, he looks good.
You were about to say he's so hot.
I was going to say, well, I mean, for a dude, and his wife is hotter yet, for God's sakes.
Yeah, he did say
She's been hot for 30 years.
She's looked longer than that.
Great, yeah. Darn, that's weird.
You'd like to trade places with him, wouldn't you?
Oh, my God, I'd love to, just for whatever, you know, a little backup.
I'm sure your wife, Shelby, appreciates that. Guys, let's get it started right now with Super Bowl champion Rodney Harrison.
Yeah.
New England has got this crowd. Brady out of the shotgun, a 40-yard strike. And a carry, dead, solid, perfect.
All right, our first guest had quite a first year up there in New England. It culminated with a Super Bowl victory. Please welcome the Patriots' two-time Pro Bowl safety, Rodney Harrison. Rodney, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Rodney, it's Tom. You've got a hell of a helmet collection at your house there, don't you?
Yeah, I got all these helmets, and it's just fun collecting these helmets from a bunch of different players, Bill Romanowski, Steve Atwater, and a bunch of great players like that.
Hey, you know what? Obviously, it was a great day for you on Sunday, but any moment could be a better day for you because your wife is, like, almost in labor, right? You've got the cell phone, right? You got it? You're good to go?
I got the cell phone right here in my lap, and at any moment in time, she can call me and say, hey, he's on his way. And I'm ready. I'm nervous, but I'm very excited about it.
All right, good. But the cell phone's working. Hold it up. Let's just see it real quick. Just so.
Got
all
the
right,
cell
good.
phone.
Thank you. All right, good. Now, unfortunately, I have to ask you to hold up your other hand as well, because for people that don't know, you broke your arm in the game, and you had surgery, so you missed Tuesday's parade. Let's see that, baby. You feeling okay?
Oh, it's sore. It's sore. But there's a price that you have to pay, and it could have happened the first week of the season, so no better way of going out with a ring and a broken arm.
Plus, are you going to be able to deliver the baby with the one hand?
I'm not looking south. I'm looking north. I'm looking at her face only. I can't look down there.
Hey, Rodney, they tell me you actually made a tackle with a broken arm, man. Is that true? In the game, you made a tackle with a broken arm?
Yeah, I was screaming and yelling trying to get off the field, but no one could come in and replace me, so I had to play another play. When Muhammad caught the ball, and I was able to push him out of bounds, and wow, it hurt pretty bad.
Now, you had a metal plate inserted into your arm, is that right?
Yeah, metal plate and some screws, and I had the surgery yesterday, and I had to take an early morning flight here to Atlanta, and it's just been a tough, long, stressful day.
Is it hard to get through security with that metal detector going off? Does it beep because of your arm?
Actually, it did. It beeped quite a few times, but the guy kind of recognized me, so he allowed me to go through.
Oh, good. All right, you know, unfortunately, everybody
my earpiece. I'm losing my earpiece.
That's all right. Okay. Just, tug it in with that broken arm. It'll be fine. You know what? Everybody saw the video of the Patriots parade, and especially your quarterback, Tom Brady. He can't dance, can he?
Nah, Tom's a terrible dancer, but I tell you one thing, he's a heck of a quarterback. He's a heck of a leader.
Yeah, well, your owner, Bob Kraft, he's very rich. That's good. He can't dance either.
Hey, I don't care how much money you got. You can't teach those guys. They can't even buy dance lessons. They're so bad.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Rodney, on a serious note, there's a report that Panthers wide receiver Steve Smith said that Tyrone Poole spit in his face. Did you see anything like that?
You know what? No, Steve Smith mentioned it to me during the game, and I know Tyrone. I know what type of person Tyrone is. He's a God-fearing man, and it's just really hard for me to believe that. Hopefully it didn't happen. I have the ultimate faith in Tyrone that he wouldn't do anything like that or cross that line, but it's a tough situation. Steve Smith said he did it, and I mean, I have no way of proving it.
Right.
Whether he did it or if he didn't do it, so it's just part of the game.
Well, which reminds me, didn't it suck to have to play the game, and that means you missed Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, that whole thing?
Hey, man, every time I turn on the TV, that's all I hear about is Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. I'm glad I didn't see it. I'm glad I was not part of it.
All right.
Well, you know what? We actually have the streaker coming up in the next segment. We've got, don't worry, he's going to be fully clothed. Did you see him at the beginning of the second half?
Oh, man, what was that guy thinking? I mean, he made me sick to my stomach looking at this body. I mean, hold on for a second. Hello? No, sweetheart, I'm on the best damn sports show. I can't come up. He's just going to have to wait, okay? I'll talk to you later.
That's all right.
Hey, my son has to wait. I'm on the best damn sports show.
Hey, Rodney, very nice. Hey, in all honesty, you know, you were cut by the San Diego Chargers earlier this year, and you signed on with New England, and you just won the title. So did you call your old coach, Marty Schottenheimer, start laughing at him that you got a ring and he doesn't?
No, not really. I was very disappointed to be released by the San Diego Chargers. I spent 9 years of my career there. I mean, we had some exciting moments, but, you know, it was some tough times, definitely, the last 8 years with losing and going through some frustrating seasons. But, I mean, it's part of business. They didn't really want me there anymore, and New England welcomed me. Coach Belichick told me he wanted me to come in and be a leader and be an integral part of the team. And I was just excited to sign on with him. And here I am with a Super Bowl ring. I'm very elated about it.
Oh, about that, Rodney, let me ask you something, player. When Adam Vinatieri kicked the winning field goal, I mean, before he took the snap, were you worried that he had missed 2 before? Did you know your boy was going to come through? How'd you feel about that?
I felt I was on the sideline, and I was a little nervous. Of course, I'm always a little nervous because I'm saying, well, Adam's done it before. I know he'll do it again. And, I mean, they call him Mr. Clutch because he's been in different situations. But whenever you want a game-winning field goal, you want that guy kicking it. And he came up big, Mr. Clutch, Adam Vinatieri.
Any chance you'll name your son Adam Vinatieri Jr.?
Well, I don't think I'll name him, but I'm just happy to have that guy on my team, man. He's awesome.
Okay.
We'll take that as a no. Rodney, hey, look, congratulations on the Super Bowl. Right. More importantly, congratulations on the birth of your child. You come out and join us in studio anytime, buddy, all right? Thank you.
I appreciate it. I got to go to my kid now. Get out of here.
Thank you. Rodney Harrison, everybody.
Still to come, drivers, start your trash talking.
I'm not going to lose to you, baby.
Leanne Tweeden defends her Grand Prix championship.
Anybody intimidating you out here?
You? Yeah.
But up next, Kurt Russell.
It's a miracle. I'm making my best damn debut, and it's coming up next.
Stick around.
Give me a backpack.
And courage, a life's mission begins. You can experience it as Samus in Metroid Zero Mission. Her first adventure as an intergalactic bounty hunter. Rated E for everyone.
The Zale Keepsake Box with chocolates. Exclusively designed by Lennox with a diamond heart pendant, just $99. Looks like love is here to stay. Exclusively at Zales. Making moments last a lifetime.
Explain the bottle again.
Well, I fill it with authentic Guinness draft.
Brilliant!
Then we walk outside.
Yes.
Bring it to a party.
Yes.
And then we drink it.
Drink beer at a party? Brilliant! What else you working on?
Remember how I used to open the bottle?
Yes.
Well, I've devised a gadget that does it for you.
Brilliant!
Brilliant!
Guinness Draft straight from the bottle. Enjoy it everywhere.
Brilliant!
Sunday, Sunday, see Big Eddie haul trees in his fuel injected Hemi Dodge Ram 1500. Sunday, Sunday, Big Eddie picks up stuff in his 345 horsepower Hemi Dodge Ram. Sunday, Sunday, going fishing in a Hemi powered Ram.
Morning, Ed.
Monday, Monday.
You gotta stop.
The Best Damn Sports Show, period, on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns.
Hey, everybody, we're here to talk about the Best Damn Student Film Festival presented by Sony.
This is for aspiring filmmakers. So you make a 3-minute movie related to sports. There's 2 categories, fiction and nonfiction. Then a blue ribbon panel will pick the 10 best, 5 in each category.
Are you on that panel?
What do they win? I'd love to be.
All right, well, tell them what they win. Actually, you get an appearance right here on the Best Damn Sports Show, period. And, of course, we're going to air your video as well, your little film. And you get one of these.
This is cool.
This is a Sony TRV 33 camcorder, all right?
Oh, this is awesome. You can make films. You can,
Nice and small.
What do they got? It's got megapixels,
1
right?
megapixel, which
and that
means
makes it
more
clear.
clarity.
That's right.
Plus, it's small, it fits in your hand, and fits in your briefcase. Anyway, you can also win an internship right here at Fox Sports or 20th Century Fox. For more information, all you do is log on to foxsports.com, and the keyword there is BDSSP Film Festival.
Yeah, it's fine. Where's my camera? Our next guest gives a brilliant performance as a coach of the U.S. 1980 gold medal winning hockey team in the film Miracle. It's an awesome film. The role of his career, he becomes Herb Brooks. Take a look.
You were born to be hockey players. Every one of you. And you were meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. I'm sick and tired of hearing about what a great hockey team the Soviets have. Screw them. This is your time.
Yes, please welcome Kurt Russell. Please, have a seat. We talked a little before, and when I first heard about this film, I lived in Minneapolis in the 80s. I met Herb Brooks a few times. He's a god. I hear that you're going to play the role. I'm a little curious.
Things are in trouble already.
Well, I'm thinking that, but I got to tell you, that wasn't you. I mean, that was him. I mean, I didn't see Mr. Handsome, Kurt Russell up there. I mean, it was a brilliant. Sincerely, it was a great performance.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Did you feel like that? Were you nervous? Did you know it was a great?
Well, when you're going to play anybody, I mean, imagine if somebody's going to play you, if you can. You'd like to have somebody do it as close to you as they could get, and so I think you're obligated to do that.
Right. I mean, the jaw, everything. I mean, it was just the hair.
He just had a way about him. I got to meet him and spend quite a bit of time with her before the movie started, and talk with him on the phone. And I had yards and yards of tape. So I had done Elvis many, many years ago, and I just sort of went about it the same way, and I had just as much fun. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
Do you think it's too early for Oscar talk?
No, it's not too early.
Listen to Tom. Oh no, I think that the movie is a really good movie, and the audiences that I've seen watch it, they really get into it. I remember seeing Rocky with my nephew, and they stood up and cheered, and they do the same thing.
And it's like in Hoosiers is another type of movie that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of audience, actually, we have a quick question from our studio audience. Here you go for Kurt Russell.
Kurt, I loved your hair in the movie. How come you don't wear it like that all the time?
That's Jimmy Craig.
Yeah, you're looking, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it was a choice between wearing the hair or the pants or both.
Well, you're probably the only actor out there that could pull off that hair.
It was something we actually talked about. We said, this is pretty extreme, but this is the way, pretty much, you know, it's the way Herb did it, so got to go with that.
Exactly. Well, you know, you were talking about the response of a lot of people that have seen the movie. What was it like the first time you saw the movie because of the inspiration that it played in this country?
Well, you know, when Herb died, and it was August or September, suddenly there was a lot of weight on it. And all I can say is that meeting the Brooks family, meeting Patty, Kelly, and Danny, it meant a lot. It was very emotional, actually, and I was just really happy that they liked what I had done and what we'd done with the movie. You know, it was our verification.
Yeah, it's good. You're going to cry. I'm going to cry. I mean, the movie, it's one of those guys, I just can't get into it.
Film.
It's okay to cry at this film, guys.
Thank you.
Now, listen, in 1980, do you remember I was in junior college?
I was going to remember that you were in junior college.
No, but I remember the feeling of the game and watching the game. Do you remember what you were doing then?
Well, actually, this was a respite for me because my first son, Boston, was born, had a lot of problems at birth, and he was in the intensive care unit at Cedars-Sinai. So I was very focused on that, but I was getting glimpses of the games, and then as it was how it worked out, I was able to see the whole Russian game. And it was just such a great experience for me personally at that time. It was a relief for a couple of hours. You know, it got me away from what was going on. It was really tough in our life. So, just on that level, it was fantastic.
Well, you know, the scenes in the movie are very realistic, the hockey scenes, and I realized that they didn't hire actors to play the roles of most of the hockey guys. Did you do any training for the movie specifically yourself?
Well, that's what got me interested, really. When Gavin O'Connor, the young director, we started talking about doing the movie, I thought, you know, every sport, I'm just not a sports film fan. I don't like them because it's horrible when an actor, it doesn't look right. He just doesn't look like he belongs there. He's never spent any time doing that. He's acting at being a ball player or a football player or a hockey player. It's horrible, and hockey's really tough. When he said he wanted to go after hockey players from Boston, hockey players from Wisconsin, hockey players from Minnesota, get guys that looked like, and I thought, wow, he's asking a lot here. And when we get on the set, this could be a total disaster. These guys never been in front of the camera before.
Right.
So for me, that's what got me excited about doing the movie. And he said, I said, we can do Herb one of three ways. I said, it can be Kurt Russell, you know, doing a coach. It can be, I can sort of do a little bit of a Herb flavor.
Right.
I said, or I can go do what I did when I did Elvis, and I can really try to capture the guy. He said, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. So that's because of him. That's what we.
You know, the word you keep hearing with this film is inspiration, and so much so, apparently they're already working on a sequel called Miracle 2, and actually we do have a clip, and so I want you to take a look at this. Miracle 2.
What is this?
1980. Team USA defeats the Russians, going on to take the gold and shock the world. A miracle? Of course.